So before I get any comments from women that ask me why is she asking about men, it is the reason because number one, I used to be a tomboy. I used to hang around men all the time when I was younger. So even still after changing from the tomboy phase and as a teenager, early teenager, I began to dress more girly girl and stuff like that. And I still pretty much hung around the boys. I don't mess around with women too much. Why? Because women is messy, okay? They messy, they always gossip, they always doing the most. So that's why I never really hang with females. And yeah, I had a few females that I had that I associated with. They called me their friend. Yeah, they was just my associate to me because, me knowing how a female is. So me hanging around the men, it was always a different light with the men. I learned them. I studied them very intensely. I knew about the games. I knew how they played the games because that's how, when I was actually in my game era as a young girl, I learned how to master it so well that they never knew I was cheating on them. All right, I'm just, telling myself a little bit. They never knew when I was cheating on them or whatever. But I always scored them in the game. That's because of, me being around the boys. I was around them and everything until, but I tell you too is for me sitting up there being around men, I have encountered a lot of messy men. Okay, there is actually some men that is messy like women, and they was not feminine. Okay, so like kind of learning the fullness of that, but then also too is me understanding, as I try to switch to the female audience, even though I don't mess with them too much, right? I try to switch to the female audience, more so of the people that reach out to me is men, even in business, even on all my social media platforms, it's men. It's look, I went through a whole season where so it has been nothing but clergy men of all types coming to me, asking me about the person that they had believed that was supposed to have been their wife, what they needed to do, and to pray on these things. So it really just hit me that really, and I do remember one of my kids' fathers telling me that maybe the reason why the men is reaching out to you because God wants you to begin to speak into the men. And then if you begin to speak into the men, then their wives will come. So, so that would be like, okay, I've been going around the circles actually for a reference to this whole thing for maybe a couple of years now. God, like, why is these broken men always coming to me? Why is these men that need healing always trying to attach? Why is the men? Why is the men? So, however, I got clarity where so the reason why the men is coming because however I am doing a gathering of the brethren, and however I tell you I love my sons daily. So if I see a little boy, I'm more drawn to the little boy than I am drawn to the little girl. But I also know too is that what is missing, and I know what men sit up there and deal with because of a woman, even because of their mama, and because God is about to he's about to change the trajectory of that because God is calling all his sons to himself. So that's why for y'all this maybe sit up there and be like, okay, so why is she addressing the men? Because y'all know, for real, I'm a woman. And y'all know some of y'all women is toxic. Okay? So it's not always the man. It is the woman too. Let's talk about the truth. A woman has broken a man down so bad that he don't even want to be around his children. He don't even want to be around his family, let alone sit up there and be in the church. So, however, women, y'all got to get it together. But for the all, before you start running your mouth, however, you may need to consult the Lord on that factor in reference to why is she reaching out to the men. Because, however, I don't want them. But, however, I know that God has an assignment there. And because many men have been abused by their mothers, or their mothers have transitioned from this earth, many of them will actually listen to a nurturing mother. So um, that's that's where that draws in from, in reference to the men. So yeah, so God has given me clarity about that, what He has for me to do in reference to the men. I thought like a couple years ago when He gave it back to me, when He gave it to me then, and it was like, I don't know about that, Lord, because can't no woman teach no man. But actually, shoot, there's a lot of men that feel comfortable with being taught by women. And it ain't got nothing to do with physical attraction and all of that stuff, the visual. Some men will actually only listen to a woman. And then y'all got to remember too is that, okay, yes, even though in the home, the man is the priest and he is the head if he is following God, but also too, who do they have beside them if they are married? They have a strong woman, right? That strong woman is still in the background encouraging and pushing and nurturing that man to push him to the next level. And a lot of y'all had kind of, because things is going on and y'all feel as though that y'all lacking, y'all looking for the man to give you something that only God can give you. Y'all are neglecting and dropping the man. And then the man, he can't get past himself. And then too is God had begun to show me all the men that I have came across that he has used me to bring them and draw them back to him, God. Soul winning for me has been men. It's been some females, but mostly men. Hmm. All right.